This is the INTEX 28207EP 10Ft x 30 inches beachside metal frame above ground swimming pool set. If you're thinking about picking one up, I just want to walk you through my experience. I got this pool because I wanted something bigger than a small inflatable pool, but I did not want a huge above-ground pool that takes over the whole yard. This 10-foot size felt like a middle ground. It is big enough for kids to play in, and I can sit in it and cool off, but it still fits in a normal backyard without feeling like a major project. The size is probably the main reason I like it. At 10 feet wide and 30 inches tall, it holds a decent amount of water. I would not call it deep, but it is enough for relaxing, splashing around, and letting kids have fun. For adults, it is more of a sit-down and cool-off pool. I would not buy this expecting to swim laps or do anything serious in it. The ocean print inside the pool is a nice touch. I usually do not care much about printed designs, but this one does make the pool feel a little more fun, especially for kids. The bottom has that beach and ocean look, and it also hides small bits of dirt better than a plain blue bottom. That does not mean it stays clean by itself, but it does not look dirty right away after a little dust or grass gets in. Setup was not hard, but I would not say it was effortless either. The box makes it seem like this is a quick setup, and yes, the frame itself is pretty simple, but getting the liner spread out right takes some patience. I found it much easier with another person helping. Doing it alone is possible, but the last few frame pieces can be annoying when the liner is not sitting exactly where it should. One thing I learned fast is that the ground matters a lot. This pool needs to be on a flat surface. Not kind of flat. Actually flat. Once water goes in, the weight is serious, and any slope starts to show. I was worried about this before setting it up, and I think that worry was fair. If the pool leans, it does not feel safe, and the frame looks like it is carrying pressure in the wrong places. I also would not place it straight on rough ground. The bottom liner feels thinner than I expected. It is not paper thin, but I would not trust it over sticks, small rocks, roots, or uneven dirt. I used padding underneath, and I am glad I did. If I were setting this up again, I would spend more time preparing the base than anything else. A ground cloth alone may not be enough if the surface is rough. The metal frame feels solid once it is together. The poles do not feel flimsy, and the joints are easy enough to connect. I like that it does not feel wobbly when the pool is filled properly. Compared to inflatable pools I have used before, this feels much more stable. Inflatable pools are easier to throw up for a day, but they also lose shape, lean, and get punctured more easily. This one feels more like something I can leave set up for the season. Daily use is simple. Fill it, keep the water treated, skim stuff out, and run the pump. That sounds easy, but this is where the pool needs more attention than some people may expect. The included filter pump works, but it is small for the amount of water in the pool. It moves water around, but I would not count on it to keep everything clear without help. I had to rinse the filter cartridge often. If the pool got a lot of use, or if grass and dirt got tracked in, the filter got dirty fast. I would check it almost every day during heavy use. If I ignored it, the water started to look cloudy. So if I were buying this again, I would already plan on extra filters and maybe a stronger pump later if I wanted less maintenance. The pump that came with mine is the smaller 330 GPH style. That was one of the things I paid attention to because I saw different listings showing different pump sizes. Some listings can be confusing. I would check exactly what is included before buying. I would not assume the pictures always match what comes in the box. The water capacity is enough that I do not want to drain and refill it all the time. That means water care matters. I used chlorine and kept a cover nearby when it was not in use. A cover helps a lot with leaves, bugs, and random yard stuff. This set did not give me every accessory I wanted, so I had to think about extras like a cover, a skimmer, and better padding underneath. Getting in and out is also something to think about. Since this is 30 inches tall, kids may need help depending on their age and height. There is no ladder in the basic set I had, so that is worth knowing. I would not leave kids around it without supervision. It is still a pool with a lot of water in it, even if it is not very deep. One small annoyance is draining it. The drain valve helps, and it can connect to a garden hose, which is useful if I want the water to go away from the house or yard area. But it does not remove every last bit of water by itself. There is still some water left at the bottom, so I had to push it out, tip the liner, or use another method to get it dry before storing it. That part is not fun, but it is normal with pools like this. Compared to a larger steel frame pool, this one is easier to handle and store. Compared to a small inflatable pool, it takes more setup and water care, but it feels more usable for more than one afternoon. I think that is the real trade-off. It is not a tiny kiddie pool, and it is not a full backyard pool. It sits right between those two. I think this is good for families who want a seasonal backyard pool without committing to something huge. It is good for kids, casual cooling off, and weekend use. It is also good if I have a smaller yard and still want something that feels roomy enough to enjoy. I would not recommend it to someone who wants low maintenance with no extra supplies. I would also not recommend it if the only place to set it up is uneven ground. What I liked most was the size, the stable frame, and the fun inside print. What I liked least was the small pump and the amount of care needed to keep the water clear. The liner also needs protection underneath, so I would not skip that step. My relaxed take is this: I like the pool, but I would buy it with realistic expectations. I would prepare the ground well, add padding under it, keep extra filters ready, and use a cover. If I did those things, it was a nice backyard pool for hot days. If you have questions about setup, the pump, the liner, or how it feels after using it for a while, leave them in the comments. I will share detailed information about the INTEX 28207EP 10Ft x 30 inches beachside metal frame above ground swimming pool set in the comments section, everyone. Thank you for watching.